Star Wars Battlefront, the confusingly named third entry in this Star Wars Battlefront series, made a splash with this new trailer in which speeder bikes race through the forests of Endor, Boba Fett flies around on a jetpack, and, in a treat for acronym fans, an AT-ST is KIA by an RPG. OMG! So this hype train is well and truly rolling out of the station, but the combination of DICE and Star Wars means it might well be justified this time. We're optimistic as long as they avoid the following 7 things. Star Wars is about personal stories as much as it is about giant sprawling battles, and it's hard to feel like a special snowflake when you're one rebel or one stormtrooper in a horde. Especially with the way that we play, probably. Although we're all for camaraderie and we pride ourselves on teamwork, we're going to need a bit of single-player hero's journey magic from Star Wars Battlefront this time around. How else will I fantasize about being the one destined to bring balance to the Force? The only thing we know so far is that the solo experience is called Battlefront Missions. And I'll be honest, DICE, I was hoping for a name more along the lines of Andy saves the galaxy, basically single-handedly, and gets a sweet medal like Han Solo did that one time. Missions. It is possible to blend anecdote-generating multiplayer and cinematic, handcrafted single-player experiences. I mean, look at Titanfall, and then don't do that.
Next-gen automated infantry is the future, but taking out a bunch of civilians is hardly a test.
Battlefront is being developed by DICE, the guys who make the Battlefield series of military shooters, so it's tempting to imagine that Star Wars Battlefront is going to be Battlefield with lightsabers, Bad Company with blasters. But we're keen for that not to be the case. We already have Battlefield for Battlefield. Let's have Battlefront as something new and different. And I'm not just saying that because I'm terrible at Battlefield. Alright, maybe it's part of the reason. We already know that Battlefront does away with aiming down sights, something that's integral to the Battlefield experience, so already we're on the right track for this to feel distinct from EA's military shooter. Also, it's been confirmed Star Wars Battlefront will be playable in both first and third person, something that has the potential to make the multiplayer experience feel very different indeed, so signs are good. Now we need the game modes to be fresh and not just the same old tired Battlefield ones. The recent Battlefield Hardline had Hotwire and Heist modes, which were inventive new introductions inspired by the fiction of the game. Let's have something similar for Star Wars Battlefront. And while we're at it, a Sarlacc pit that if you fall in, it takes you 1,000 years to respawn. Alright, the game comes out before Star Wars Episode 7, but by the time the first DLC is released in 2016, we'll all have seen the new movie, and hopefully we won't all be wishing we'd spent the price of our cinema ticket on something else, like, I don't know, crystal meth. For that reason, the inevitable season of Battlefront DLC should be inspired not by the original trilogy, but by the new movie, and even, dare we say it, the prequel trilogy. Prequel might be a dirty word these days, but the events and locations of Episodes 1 to 3 are still part of a dramatically stripped-back Star Wars canon, and locations like Coruscant and Mustafar are still exciting places that we'd love to see done justice on current-gen consoles. DICE is already fleshing out a planet called Sullust, which has volcanic geology and a TIE fighter base on it, so the core game isn't a slave to the events of the original movies. Why not use the DLC to expand the universe even further? Plus, the free DLC on December the 8th, or December the 1st for pre-orderers, is based on the new planet of Jakku, teased in the recent Force Awakens trailer. So at least it sounds like DICE is being allowed to integrate with the new trilogy in a meaningful way. Battlefront is going to explain how that Star Destroyer ends up crash-landed here, in fact. Hey, fingers crossed I get to personally crash-land it. If it handles anything like a Battlefield helicopter, that's a guarantee. Yes, the inclusion of special playable characters like Darth Vader is absolutely awesome. Yes, we really want to stalk through the middle of a battle waving a lightsaber. And yes, those moments will 100% be the coolest in the entire game. But for exactly that reason, they should use the movie heroes and villains super sparingly. The ability to play as Darth Vader shouldn't just be some power-up that you stumble across on the map that lasts until you get gunned down by a bunch of no-name rebels. It should be an endgame killstreak reward that makes you insanely powerful, nearly invulnerable, and is properly terrifying for the enemy. This is a guy, remember, that can stop blaster shots with his bare hands. Well, gloved hands, but you know what I mean. Basically, I don't want to see Darth Vader being taken out like a chump in the middle of a match by an Ewok on a speeder bike. Or do I? Alright, we know space combat is the thing that lots of fans are hoping for in Star Wars Battlefront after its inclusion in Star Wars Battlefront 2. We also know DICE has announced the focus is on planetary combat rather than combat in deep space. That's a good thing though, because space combat is actually, whisper it, a bit rubbish.
The flag has been dropped.
Yes, it's plenty of fun if you're wheeling around in an X-Wing chasing TIE fighters, but if you haven't managed to jack a spaceship, you're either having a really tedious gun battle in the enclosed corridors of a Star Destroyer, or queuing politely at a hangar waiting for more vehicles to spawn. You could give everyone a vehicle and get rid of ground combat entirely, but bear in mind this is a game based around vehicular multiplayer, not a fully featured space combat sim. That's why it's a smart call by DICE not to bother with space battles. Search your feelings, you know it to be true. Instead, what we're hoping is that DICE gives us enough room, both horizontally and vertically, on each of the planet levels to have proper, exciting dogfights in Atmos, while a large-scale ground battle happens below. Even though the vehicles were there, that wasn't really possible in the original Battlefront games because PS2 technology couldn't handle arenas that big. Now, on current-gen consoles, there's no excuse. Look, EA, I know what the deal is. You like money. We all like money, yeah? But this is Star Wars, and after years of abuse, the franchise needs some tender, loving care to regain its fully good standing with ever-patient fans. Do you really want all your online matches to be full of gold Darth Vader's marijuana leaf decal X-Wings and R2 units with Snoop Dogg voice packs installed? Well, maybe you do, but I don't.
We lost the lead, you mark-ass trick!
We know there'll be DLC, that's par for the course these days, but we'd much prefer classy, enticing extras than randomized battle packs of Jar Jar Binks skins. Before you get any bright ideas, DICE, about making Ewoks invulnerable, unshootable bystanders on account of how they look a bit like furry children, let me stop you there. In this, as in all things, we must ask, what would Darth Vader do? I'm not saying I'm a psychotic teddy bear murderer, but I'm going to need to shoot at least one Ewok in the face. I want to see those little guys ragdolling all over the shop. If the ESRB has a problem with it, tell them we told you to do it.
Our reinforcements are thinning.
So those were 7 things we don't want from Star Wars Battlefront. What are you hoping for from the game? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe for more on Battlefront as soon as we get it. Bye!